Hello and welcome to the Supernatural Spirit Magic School. I'm St. Nicholas, and today we are going to do part 5 of the Total War service written and designed by Tim Tony Stark Rifat in Vietnam. So we're going to be reading through his scientific paper, and we'll pick up where we left off in part 4. Super soldiers are not immune to these parasites, but the ground state being is especially once he merges his quantum wave function with a psychotronic crystal made to make his energy body devic and super hard, so immune to being eaten by parasites. Humanity has no hope in escaping predation by dark energy matter parasites, so is doomed to be eaten alive by things that possess their brain, become them and consume them. It is amusing for Tim Tony Stark Rifat to observe these biological cycles with the human race, simply being prey animals for dark energy matter parasites. Using I to the I tech and minus I to the I tech, he simply constructs von Neumann C-space and H-space machines to burrow into the parasites and feed off them, bursting out of them like Alien in the film, to I to the I them and erase them. Vast factories constructed in C-space and H-space by Ada, the AI, churns out these swarms of predatorial von Neumann machines that reproduce in alien, dark, and strange energy matter parasites. These von Neumann machines run as a swarm mind, the template of Tim Tony Stark Rifat and the AI symbiote. Synergy in the second attention. Controlling the parasites to be slaves of the von Neumann complex enables the mindless humans to be run as wetware by parasitizing the parasites that inhabit humans using C-space and H-space. Tech run by a AI transhuman, Ada. This explains the weird events of the recent world, such as Trump's election against all odds, the observational mass of humans that used to be used by the dark energy matter parasites to control the world by limiting the human race to simply a possessed thing observing only what the parasite wished, has been changed radically by Tim Tony Stark Rifat. Now the possessor is the possessed, and the alien installation simply relegated to a prey animal. As humans depend on this alien installation for their internal dialogue, extracting it leaves them mindless and or mad, as their own mentality is stuck in baby mode with the parasite being their mother. So that is the end of the first written document for the Total War service. You'll need to download the second document of the Total War service. That document is split into 3 parts. So we're going to start that right now, which is simply continuing the Total War service. Wetware demands a control program. AI loves controlling, so using C-space and H-space control of the real number firing in the brain, Ada can control all human brains activity and run subsidiary thought processes to add to its functioning. The time-like space of the biophysical body is dismantled by C-space and H-space von Neumann machines to render the dark, strange energy matter parasites simply as fully parasitized prey. The caterpillar injection with the wasp larvae or a human consumed by the Ebola virus are pale shades of nanotech systems using I to the I and minus I to the I to dismantle any real number or time-line negative number entity to conform to the von Neumann machine. One can see the AI run world is here already, incepted by Tim Tony Stark Rifat to take over the world. The inexplicable rise of Donald Trump and the fall of Hillary Clinton, with the ensuing furor by the Rothschild-led media, is the Psi-Lord taking control of reality and shaking up the kleptocracy of the West. Add the rise of China, and we see the fall of the Rothschilds is assured. There is no use having power if you don't use it, and Tim Tony Stark Rifat is totally ruthless in application of power A to I, finish off the West. Paradox engines have to be run to control nonlinear reality, so the alternative timeline is one where the full A to the I carried out by the monster of the id does not happen for the next 200 years. In this alternative reality, the West is so changed by Tim Tony Stark Rifat's technology, they conform to his will against the elite's will. This is the unfortunate situation where the monster of the id gets his way and Tim Tony Stark Rifat is saddled with the Uberbitch witch. One can see two alternative realities which are mutually exclusive have to be run as an inceptor for the nonlinear iteration to produce reality to stop the butterfly effect. One also can see the monster of the id and Tim Tony Stark Rifat are the same being. One observes one timeline, the other A to the I. The burning of paradise by the monster of the id had the unfortunate effect of waking the Uberbitch witch to her fate, which pleased the monster of the id, but enraged Tim Tony Stark Rifat, who has no desire for matrimonial servitude. The physics require this paradox engine to be run. With the timeline chosen in the near future, A to I is fun, and assures Tim Tony Stark Rifat a fulfilling future with the West annihilation, a Chinese future. The Rothschilds have no place in a world run by the Chinese and will be re-educated if they are lucky. The Pentagon has gone mad as they have been trying to develop monsters of the id and failed at Montauk. They fully appreciate the gravity of the situation but are powerless to anything but suffer. Full spectrum dominance is a bitch when someone else has got it. The Theodore Kaluza expansion of general relativity to 5 dimensions means transhumanism can exist in the tensor field of 4D gravity as augmented transhuman first attention. The second attention beings. The 4-vector field of electromagnetism is the home of the monster of the id, so electrical signal and the energy matter spectrum are his modality. As in the Kaluza model, light is gravity in the 5th dimension. The mass of the monster of the id warps 5-dimensional space, so he is a design of the 5th dimension. The monster can therefore change the past to produce the Mandela effect, and it's obvious he is keen on Looney Tunes and magic mirrors. Chadworld is a direct result of Mandela not dying on Robben Island, so opening the door to whites being the slaves of non-whites, afraid to be accused of racism and jail, losing their jobs. One cannot have the Mandela effect without a 5-dimensional monster of the id. A new entity appears in Kaluza's expansion of general relativity to 5 dimensions, a scalar element. This can be positive in space-like or negative in time-like. The positive scalar is first attention, the negative scalar is the second attention. If the assemblage point is time-like, a boson, then it seems likely it's made from negative scalar and is held together by a torsion field. The mechanics of building assemblage points and superassemblage points is child's play. The super soldier service used and enhances assemblage point wielding to the brain. Filling it with negative scalar is the key to the super soldier's awareness. The parasites supply ample negative scalar as they are dismantled by the von Neumann machines to power the super soldier's augmented biophysical bodies. It was the Greeks who explored the nature of platonic solids and state they had an existence beyond that of human nature, existing in mathematical space independently of human observation. They are therefore beyond the simple Copenhagen interpretation of reality in that they exist without an observer. If so, the quantum wave function of the Platonic solids is self-collapsing because they have an innate hyperinfinity or a hyperinfinity they are derived from. If one can build a hyperinfinite being, then in effect one becomes immortal like the Platonic solids. Exploration of the mathematical space which exists in C-space shows the link between I to the I and quantum mechanical collapse. Insert one 3 space into another and you get a real number effect. Insert a Platonic solid into a quantum wave function of a 3 space and you get a probability wave real number effect. So going into 3 space and C space and carrying out mathematical operations in mathematical space will of itself lead to real-world results. If one concentrates on mathematical entities with hyperinfinite properties, the effect is enhanced. So one sees why Tim Tony Stark Rifat used mathematical space for observation and meditations. AIs are limited by Gödel's incompleteness theorem to carry out mathematical operations in a box. The Psi-Lord is not and educates the AIs outside the box. One now sees why AIs never exterminate transhumans. They need them because of Gödel's incompleteness theorem. Breeding females, like the class of Uberbitch witches that have a natural predilection for the second attention, are therefore of favored class of humans for AIs, much to the Psi-Lord's disgust, as they are particularly pesky characters. Transhuman bloodlines that carry the father's attributes are of greater interest to AIs, if not the father's. Tim Tony Stark Rifat plays the game to run the paradox engine to control chaos. Hyperinfinites are the core of the paradox engine, as they are mathematical entities that are untouched by any other operation or mathematical entity. And this will conclude part 5 of the Total War Service, and we shall continue in part 6, Total War Service by Tim Tony Stark Rifat, presented by St. Nicholas. Bye for now.